Mike, turn your games down.
Hi, this is another mini episode of Games My Mom Found. I am Mike Albertin, and who's blessing rings with me tonight?
Hey, it's Michael Hughes.
And then everybody's favorite guest character from another franchise, it's Adam from Talk Games Chew Bubblegum.
That was good. That was really good. And we are here to talk about a game that I've been trying to get on this podcast for over 2 years. This was actually on the on the season when I write my little season, made this up right before in 2020, but then my co-host left at the time, and I'm like, oh, well, I need to do, and I changed up, and I took this off. Almost on there. So, Mike, you waited 2 years, but you still got to play it. Ehergeiz, God Bless the Ring, PlayStation 1. The game that people only know about because it's the FF7 fighting game that came out in 2000. That's why.
God bless this mess.
99. It came out in 99 for America, and then PAL is 2000. Okay.
They had to wait another year for this masterpiece.
Hey, when I played this game back in like 01 or 02, this game was pretty damn cool. So
it has ideas.
But so also the funny thing is this is the first fighting game to ever be on the podcast.
Oh wow.
Really?
Yep. So I think that's kind of hilarious too, that it's not Street Fighter, it's not a Mortal Kombat, it's Ehergeiz, God Bless the Ring for PlayStation. That's the first game.
It almost feels generous to call it a fighting game, but I guess technically it is.
Hey, at the time, like when this was in arcade, because this is published by, or not published, this is developed by Dream Factory. This was actually a big deal because it's the second game to ever have that open world arena style at the time. So this was a big deal when this came out. I mean, to us now in 2023, this is like bleh. But plus, me and Mike are not into fighting games. So
this is the same company that made the toe ball games.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, gotcha.
Yeah, if you see if this game had Cammy, you would have liked it more, right?
True.
So from Street Fighter, but yeah, no, that's partly I think why we had not as much of a taste for it, because it's just that, and I actually bought this game not when it came out, but when I heard about it somehow. I remember calling different Funko Lands at the time, I'm pretty sure, and then I tracked down a copy of this and had my dad drive me to go pick it up. And I still have a copy of this game without the case, unfortunately, just a random in like a little CD jewel case, but I have it.
I'm sure those were fun conversations trying to get the people to understand what you were saying, because this title is bonkers.
You just say Final Fantasy VII fighting game. That worked. I'm sure that worked just fine. I mean, hell, on the cover of the PS1 disc, they have Cloud on the cover of the case. Like, they knew what they were selling this with.
So what's really weird about this game is I played this before I played Final Fantasy VII, so I didn't really know who some of the characters were, because I play a lot of fighting games before I play RPGs.
Makes sense. They also weren't even supposed to be like, when this game first, I didn't know this, I found a video I was watching beforehand. Like this, when this originally came out in arcades in Japan, I think it didn't have any FF7 guest characters. It was just the other 8 characters, or 9, or how many there are.
No, they were in the arcade version.
But not at first. You had to wait 30 days to unlock Cloud and 60 days of it being powered on to unlock Tifa.
Exactly, yeah.
And I think that's cool.
Mm-hmm. And so you can definitely tell that Bandai Namco also had their hands in this game a little bit.
Yes.
Because that's how Tekken used to be in the arcades. You would have to wait days to unlock characters. You couldn't just beat the game and then unlock them. Mm-hmm. So like Tekken 3, like one of my favorite characters, like I couldn't play as, but I didn't know about it at the time. And then as I went through the arcades, like once a week, I'd be like, oh, new character. Yeah.
Interesting. I guess that's the way to try and keep the games relevant for longer, keep people coming back.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So you just better hope no one unplugs it at night, huh? Or you lose power. There goes fodder to volume. But I guess you wouldn't unplug it either way, because the fact that you'd have to hold the top scores and everything. So never mind.
Yeah.
You see how much I care about arcades anymore, unfortunately. It was just here, I'm going to put a couple dollars in TMT, Turtles in Time, and see how long I can last. Oh, there we go. We're done. All right. That's my hope.
That was fast.
Now it's put $20 and play Halo Reach and beat it. Or I'm $30 to beat it. But hey, that's what I do now at arcades. But like I was drawn to Ehergeiz just because of the fact that Cloud was in this, because of FF7 had come out, and I was, and I was a big Final Fantasy fan. I played them all right as they came out, and I think if this is 99, we already would have gotten FF8. I'm pretty sure FF8 is 98 or 99. Didn't look this up, but
I think 9's 2000.
Okay, so I was in that mood. So finding out that I could play as Cloud in a fighting game, I was excited. This game doesn't really try to On the PS1 version, I mean, they really they go for the Final Fantasy thing. They're not guest characters. I mean, there's Cloud, Tifa, Zack, Vincent, Yuffie, and Sephiroth. Like, that's not, at that point, that's almost more than like half your roster, it feels like.
Oh, yeah. And during this time, like, I play a lot of 2D fighting games. And, you know, I had played Tekken, I think 1 and 2, and possibly 3 in arcades at this point. So the idea of an open like Power Stone-esque running around the arena fighter was just something new to me. And while I think it was difficult to like at first, I really became to like, once you learn the mechanics and controls of this game, it's more in depth than you think. And I always have a lot of fun with it.
I was wondering how long it'd take for Power Stone to get brought up.
Hey, someone's got to pave. Yeah, someone's got to pave the way. Someone's got to start and try.
Never played Power Stone still to this day.
Ooh.
Oh my.
It's like this, but good.
That's fair. I mean,
I'll say Power Stone, you know, maybe learned from mistakes in this game. You know?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, this Power Stone seems like it's almost like this and Smash kind of put together.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, 100%. Couldn't have said that better.
I mean, this is just an older game. I mean, I've also never touched any of the, like, I played very few Dreamcast games, and Power Stone Dreamcast, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, that's why I've always skipped it. I don't know. I'm not a big fighting fan, you know, so like I didn't really I didn't care about any of the aspects of the fighting game. I just liked it enough that I could play as Cloud and beat the shit and fight. So I was like, okay, that's all we need.
So, I mean, it's an easy game to jump in. There's only 5 buttons, really. You have your light, heavy, special, jump, and block. And then doing a combination of those things lets you do other moves or... Oh, my. Yeah, I don't know what set off Bixby just now, but it's something. So I apologize for that.
Special guest.
Yeah.
Bixby.
The ultimate boss in this game. But yeah, then you know, like, all right, punch, wait a few seconds, do another punch or special, and you have a complex game all of a sudden that you can either button mash or you can interrupt attacks and learn how to grapple. And I was playing it right before this, and I was trying out new things and still doing really cool stuff.
My solution was pull out Cloud Sword and beat the shit out of him with it.
But. And oh my God. I always appreciate when like fighting games, like you can't block a sword attack. Like it makes sense. Your forearms can't block swords. That's fine. But Sasuke and Cloud in this game are just a little too overpowered.
Yeah. I mean, they tried to make the characters stand out. I mean, to me, nothing stands out other than the FF7 characters. One thing that really got me as a kid and still kind of gets me is like, as you progress through this game, each level is like you just going, like you're, you know, traveling across the world and each different things are happening. I mean, not traveling, but you're like going from a destination to the other. Like, oh, you know, we fight in the arena, now we run up the roof, we fight on the roof, we fight on a blimp. Like, I really like that for some reason.
Because wherever you fight the first battle during the ladder, you beat the guy and then you get like a broken sword or something. So it's like you're on this quest to do whatever. I don't know if the game actually explains what the story is.
Not in the game, probably in the instruction book. You didn't get that with your copy?
my copy.
Oh.
Yeah, I had actually never touched this game before doing it for this episode. It's one of those ones I always heard about because Square, they had their hand in a lot of different stuff around this time. Parasite Eve and Einhander.
Never played Einhander. I'm trying to do all the Square games in the podcast.
That's
on my list to get to.
Super tough, but man, that's a fun game.
I'll be cheating, so
it's better than this.
Oh, okay, that's not hard.
All right, I'll try.
This game just doesn't hold up as well in 2023. Like It was just. I think that was like I'm watching also like the arcade version of it now. And the arcade screen, the way they show like a little map of you progressing through and it's like the different things you go to the blimp. I'm like, damn, that's cool. I wish that could have worked on the PS1 because just I would have liked that even more.
And you, like you mentioned it, like you play because of the Final Fantasy characters, where the real roster is just your typical fighting game tropes. You have your kickboxer, you have your wrestler, you have the police lady, you have your ninja. Like none of these really did jump out at you.
No.
Where none of them are super memorable unless you do play the game over and over. But then you have the Final Fantasy characters where you know them. And I think that's kind of inviting. And since, like, I don't know if you've ever played Tekken or anything like that, but I mentioned, Bandai Namco definitely had their hands in this, like with some of the characters. straight ripoffs of certain characters in the game. And then, which I was reading the wiki, and like the main character, Godhand, his name's actually Ken Mishima.
Yep.
Oh my god.
And so I'm like, wait a minute, there's another Mishima. And I mean, he has the move sets of Jin, Kazuya, Hahachi, and all that. So I thought, now I'm going to go through and like play again and just like try to find all the little subtle hints because they're there.
You said no one was memorable. I'm like, I was going through the roster and like, oh, Yoko looks exactly like Claire Redfield if she was wearing Leon's police outfit.
I had a yo-yo for a weapon.
Yeah, that's pretty cool, actually.
Yeah, no, I only played this at the FF7 characters. I beat this game like 6 times. I was trying to unlock, because I wanted to unlock Zack, and I beat it with Zack too.
Mm-hmm.
Again,
so
FF7.
I know someone here is typical of reading walkthroughs and stuff, but how long do you think it would have taken you to figure out the final boss fight?
Well, I've never beat the frickin' monster thing. I actually didn't. I mean, it's a fighting game. I didn't watch a walkthrough. I just played through it, beat Django, fight the thing, die, and then repeat. So
there's a way that you can beat the final boss, and it's not just by hitting him.
No, you have to break the boxes, right, or something?
Yeah. You can either grab the boxes, which grabbing in this game should not take 3 button impresses, but it does. Or you can have him hit the boxes, like jump on top of them, and they'll break. And then you put the sword together, that broken sword that was mentioned in the beginning. And then once you put the sword together, you just throw it at him or hit him with it, and it kills him.
I've done it before when I played this game when I was younger, but I didn't care enough to do it this time or even bother to look it up. I knew like, oh, there's something to do with those boxes. That's nice. It just wasn't. I mean, it's a cool concept. Like, the credits are there, so it doesn't. You technically finished it, but like you can still go and do something to kill a boss. Like, it's a cool concept.
Yeah,
strangely complex for a fighting game.
Yeah, I mean, this is a strange fighting game though. In general, I mean, Dream Factory was trying to do something really different too. That's part of it. He wanted to, I mean, it's just kind of too bad that, this went, I think Cobalt #1 didn't go anywhere either, I'm assuming.
Yeah, that was
a sequel.
It did.
Okay, never mind. This didn't get a sequel.
Should.
No.
Where's my Ehergeiz 2 with FFA characters? Come on now.
It's just Dissidia, I think.
Oh, yeah. I mean, at that point, yeah. I mean, I've also never played Dissidia. I have multiple copies of Dissidia. I'm like, I'm going to play this series. Yeah, I haven't touched it.
I think you would really like Dissidia.
I probably would.
Because it's, once again, it's an easy, I think, 3-4 button fighter. And it's more arena-like. And
it kind of plays like this.
Yeah.
I have to one day. I mean, like, we'll get there. I'm trying to get some of because this is one of those games that was such a like deep cut to put on this podcast. I was like, and then with Mike making the minis for me, I'm like, well, it gives me an excuse to put it on and not have to worry about it, wasting the week.
Well, I mean, besides, and I know we won't talk about it too much, but I mean, at least they tried to give you other stuff besides a fighting game in this.
Well, yeah,
there's mini games.
I did play all the mini games once each. Yeah. That was enough.
And then there was the Forsaken Dungeon.
I did it when I was younger. I never finished it, but I did. It's just a random dungeon crawler, essentially. But I did try to do a bunch of it when I was a kid, but I didn't like it. I think your weapons break, too, in it.
They do. They have durability.
And your that's a problem for me.
There's hunger meter. There's there's a bunch of stuff. There's I hate saying it, but there's like a soul-like thing where if you die, you lose all your stuff and you have to go and reclaim it.
Yeah, that's the other reason why I didn't play it this time. I was thinking about it. I was like, oh, I'm going to but I'm like, yeah, I don't care enough.
That was the main draw for me because I was like, oh, there's stats that you can boost and it's this whole big dungeon. It feels like not only another game, but it feels like that was the base game and they kind of tacked on the fighting mode. So this is one of those games that I need a Matt McMuscles What Happened, because I need to know the story behind this thing.
I don't think you'll get a Matt McMuscles on this game, but never know. Oh. He does do some weird shit. So.
He does some random shit, and he really likes fighting games, so it's possible.
Just give him $100, he'll do it. I think it's one of the Patreon tiers.
Oh, yeah.
It is. I'm pretty sure what I've seen when he posts some of his videos, he's like, oh, thanks to this guy. Or maybe it's more than that. But yeah, you can. You want to know?
I was going to say, I might have to do something for Mike. We'll figure this out.
According to Wikipedia, this mode is much like Blizzard's title Diablo. It's virtually identical.
Wow, nothing like.
I played this for like 20 minutes, and it gives you all these text boxes like, okay, this is the world. You're gonna go here. Don't go into. Only use this entrance starting out because you're not going to be leveled. And I'm like, wow, this is a lot of information up front. And then it's still not enough because I went in through their dungeon and I kind of went through a few rooms and killed some enemies. And I was like, okay, how do I get my health back? Because your like base is at an inn. It's like, oh, I'd probably just go there and rest. And I went there and I talked to everyone. And I couldn't figure out how to sleep. It was like, surely you don't just waste all your money on food items to get your health back. That wouldn't make any sense. So I couldn't figure it out.
You get drops, you get food and potions and stuff like that. There's actually fairy fountains in it as well
nice.
that you can randomly find, and fairies come and give you your health back. It's a new premise.
Yeah, that's where they got that idea from.
Yeah, they're like, only use this entrance at the top of the mountain, and immediately on top of the inn where you are, there's a well. I'm like, I'm gonna jump in the well.
I've been down there.
It's an RPG thing. There's probably something down there, and it takes you like to this big giant octopus fight. I'm like, God damn it.
Yeah, it's not. From what I remember, it wasn't friendly, so I just stayed away from it this time. I just couldn't get myself to want to do it again, even mess with it.
I was all gung ho about it, and then like, okay, well, I'm gonna have to like sit and read a guide to just to learn what I need to do, and I'm like, that's not fun. I don't want to do that.
No, that's why I don't like survival horror games, because I use a guide for every step. Turn left. All right. Open this door. Okay, what do I do? Like, that's how I play.
You gotta get through it in a week.
Well, that's how I play them, even if I wasn't doing it for the podcast. I'm terrible at survival horror games. I'm terrified of them. So
Yeah.
it's not a podcasting. That's a me problem. Like, speaking of some of the regular characters in this game, like the only one that really stood out to me was Han, which is the guy that has a prosthetic leg and a rocket launcher attached to his leg or his knee.
Yep.
I like it.
The Hwang.
Oh God, yes.
Yeah.
Easy Hwang ripoff.
Yeah.
From Tekken 3.
And one of the
like
characters
Hwang
that
a lot.
has 2 different endings in the game as well.
Didn't watch any of their endings. I beat it. I just clicked start and kept going.
So if you play as Han and you don't beat the final boss, he's just sitting in an apartment with his fake leg, and like he's all sad because he has a machine leg that shoots rockets out of it.
I'd be sad too.
Yeah, but it turns out that the final boss ate his leg. So in the real ending, if you beat the final boss, he's sitting on the rooftop now with his leg back, because somehow that's how it works.
I mean, yeah, he's eaten by a monster. I mean, yeah, it'll be just fine. I mean, there's no such thing as stomach acids.
But yeah,
I think I would be okay with a robotic leg.
That shot missiles?
I think I'd be okay.
I wouldn't
why
want
would
my
you need
regular
that?
leg.
I mean, I don't even need the missile part. Just a robotic leg where I don't feel any pain, and I can like probably do like you can. Yeah, I'd be up for it. Like, if you want to jump high, all right, here you go, 2 robotic legs. All right.
Yeah. It's not like he wasn't fighting well. I mean,
he kicks ass.
Yeah, you kick somebody with a metal leg, that hurts a lot more than a regular leg. And it has missiles.
Yeah, the missile part's pretty damn cool. I don't know. He was one of the characters that stood out to me. Godhand barely stood out to me. And it wasn't until I was watching a video where they talked about the fact that, the Mishima thing, I'm like, okay, that's kind of cool. Well, I didn't know this, but apparently if you charge your sword long enough with Cloud or do something, you can summon meteors to hit the enemy.
Yeah, so everybody has a 2-phase special. So you can either tap special and do a move, or you can charge and hold it, and it'll do like a bigger version. Where like Han, that missile will split out and burst into 3 homing missiles afterwards.
Oh, that's cool.
Tifa shoots a homing fireball for some reason.
And then you can do air specials and stuff like that. And then if you run out of your meter, especially for Han then goes into, I can't remember what it's called in Taekwondo, but the stance where they go up on one leg, the flamingo stance or crow stance or something like that.
I know what you're talking about, but I can't think of any names. I took Taekwondo, but
maybe
it's not. We can say crane. He goes up on one leg, but
yeah, it's not crane.
Contact. Yeah, but which is something else I liked. Every character, while so simple, they all play different. If you play as the kickboxer and you hold down guard and move, you actually sways instead of like doing a side step or dash, and then you unlock more attacks from like depending on which way you sway. And the same goes with Han. You can do a different kind of kick if you time it right with his sway.
That's cool.
Yeah, there's a lot of in-depth stuff about this game.
Yeah, it's not a bad fighter.
It just you have to have the patience
and
to
not
keep
play this
playing it. Yeah, and keep playing it.
I think it's more also like, it's just one of those games that didn't age well when you go back to it. I think that's kind of the hard part of it.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, games with mechanics I haven't done before, they don't age well because people have since then learned how to make that mechanic work.
Yeah.
I love this game, and I am actually like trying to get some people over, and I'm going to teach them how to play it so we can play it and act like.
That's cool. I'm glad that you're doing that. I mean, I'm glad that you had fun playing. Have you played this? Have you played this before?
Yeah. I played it when I was a kid, but there's no online capabilities. I don't think it's on Fightcade, and if it is on Fightcade, I don't assume there's a lot of people playing it. But I have a feeling like this game would really shine, like with some like couch, just a bunch of people on a couch passing the controller back and forth.
I'm gonna get it at Evo next year.
Oh my god, that would be so funny.
Yeah, I didn't even unlock all the characters because there were the 2 characters that weren't Final Fantasy 7 characters. And I didn't bother with them. I just didn't care enough. I was going to. I told myself I was going to. But it didn't happen.
Wait, Koji or Claire?
Yeah, the 2 that are in the quest mode you can unlock.
Okay, yeah. Koji is, oh my god, he is just broken. That's who I was playing before I got on the show, because I was like, oh, let me try this guy out. No joke, you don't even need to press anything but B. He just runs, grabs you, tackles you, hits you like 4 or 5 times, throws you, and does almost half damage. And then you just do it again. Like, I got so many perfects, which I don't think I had done at this point in the game.
I got a couple. I'm mostly the only person I beat it with was Tifa, because you like run and do her kick attack and she does backflips. If you keep tapping it, she just keeps flipping and knocking them into the air. Takes off a lot of health, and then when they get low, I just throw out the homing fireball at them.
So Mike, why'd you pick Tifa?
I actually didn't pick her first. I picked the Joe, who is a wolf girl. Her special is to turn into a wolf, and she's like one of the few people that I could find that could hit people while they're on the ground.
Turn into a yellow wolf that looks like a cheetah. That I always thought was a cheetah when I was younger.
Yeah,
she was pretty fun. I got like probably 3/4 of the way through, and then I lost. Like, I'll check out someone else, and that's when I played Tifa, and found out she's broken a few cheese.
Yeah, but it's also you get to. I mean, hey, this is the first game where you get to play as FF7 characters in a fighting game, because this is long before Ehergeiz, long before Smash Brothers. I mean, Sephiroth is playable in this. I mean, I'm sure that sold it for a lot of people, including me.
Well, like you said at the top of the show, I'm sure the Final Fantasy VII character sold a lot of this.
Yeah.
I can't imagine it would have done super well on its own merit.
No, and Sephiroth was in the... Oh, no, he's also a PlayStation version only. Yeah, only Cloud and Tifa were in the arcade. No, it wouldn't have sold well if they wouldn't have done all the other characters, and the fact that... I don't think this game even sold well to begin with, though, so...
They didn't pack in a demo disc like most of these other ones. Like, that's the only reason the Brave Fencer sold any kind of good, is because it had the Final Fantasy demo disc in it.
That's why my friend had it. And Pummel number 1 had a demo disc in it too, but I forgot what it was. It was some other... I think it was a Final Fantasy. I think it was FF7, actually. Hey, if you want to sell your game, put a demo disc in it. That works. Hey, that worked back then, so...
Yeah.
Look at Zone the Enders, for example. Exactly. How many people bought Zone the Enders from Metal Gear Solid 2?
I did.
So did Rich. Yeah. I mean, it's
Tibble had Final Fantasy VII. And video previews of Final Fantasy Tactics, Bushido Blade, and Saga Frontier.
Man, you know how I think about Saga Frontier more often than anybody should, but I've never beaten it, and I keep trying to can I get it on the show one day? Can I make that happen? But that game is, whew.
Oh, Bushido Blade was another odd one that they put out back then.
That's another... I love Bushido Blade. The closest thing we've gotten since Bushido Blade is a game on Steam called Hellish Court, and it still doesn't hit the spot like Bushido Blade did.
Yeah,
I've never played Bushido Blade.
Oh,
Square game too, right?
Yeah, it's a one-on-one. It's kind of like this, where it's got the open arena fighting, 3D, whatever. But your matches can be just a few seconds long.
That's what I heard, because it's like if you get a fatal blow, it's over.
Yeah, and that's like what sells it. Like, you can hurt their arm so they can't use like their left arm. They run around all gimp with it. But yeah, that one hit, that just, and you time it right, and it feels so good every time. And then there's like really cool stuff where if you're in the sand and you press a certain combination, you can like throw sand in the person's face. And then there's always if you press select, you do Harry Carry.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
Okay.
I played a lot of Bushido Blade. And then two angers you because like the final boss has an M16. You're like, what?
Bushido machine gun.
Okay, I'll have to play it. I mean, I'll have to do it on the show then, because then I know who to talk to get on. Because I really want to cover all the Square games, because I feel like I should, because Squaresoft is one of my favorite companies back in the day. So I'm slowly doing that. And getting this covered is one of those. I mean, Ehergeiz is a game that's just it's always stuck with me. I mean, there's not a whole lot to it. It's a fighting game. None of the characters I think are that memorable, unfortunately. And it's also unfortunate it didn't go anywhere. Like, we had the one PS1 game, one arcade, and then nothing. Like, it just disappeared. And people don't talk.
Like you said, it probably didn't sell well enough to merit.
No, and I get that. I mean, with all, even when you're having all your FF7 characters when FF7 was freaking huge. Yeah, playing as Sephiroth was cool, though, by the way. He had, when he pulls out his fucking sword and you just slash across the screen, I'm like, that is cool.
Sounds broken.
It is.
It wasn't that broken, actually, because you get hit once, the sword's gone. You have to put it away. And you got to wait. And he doesn't pull it out instantly, because if you hold, even like Cloud's faster, because he has an attack where he'll just hit him with the hilt of the sword. You have to do something else to you have to hold it down long. You need more time to get the complete sword out. So
interesting.
But it's cool. I played as Sephiroth. I played as Zack just because I could. Tifa. I mean, hey, this is the first game had Vincent, Yuffie. I mean, Yuffie, you actually take the shuriken off her back and use it with one of the button combos that you can do, and then keeps it until someone hits her. Like, that was cool. Like, there was some really cool stuff that I saw in this game. I'm just not a fighting game fan. Like, I do like Tekken, though. I did play a bunch of Tekken when I was younger. Tekken 1, 2, and 3. And 4 and 5. And, like, I would have liked this game to have that same type of mode, like Tekken Force and Tekken 3. I would have liked that more than the quest mode. The quest mode's cool that it exists, and it's cool that they put that on a game. It's just not. It's too complicated to be fun for me. Mm-hmm. And that's my problem with it.
Doesn't play super well either, which doesn't help.
Well, it's also like a 4-hour freaking campaign if you play, to play through it.
Like, it's more credence to the fact. I think that was the intended game, and they tacked on everything else after.
It wasn't. That was just the extra thing that he just wanted to do. I do love the idea, though, of beat-em-ups with fighting-style controls. It doesn't work, well, Sub-Zero, all the time.
Yeah,
but
right.
I like the idea of it. Like, Tekken Force, I'm sure Adam can speak to that, too, is on Tekken 3 and Tekken 4 is fun.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, you give me that, and I would have been, I've been happy. But I mean, it is awesome that they put this giant RPG thing in here, to give you more bang for your buck and to make you buy the game.
Yeah, it's definitely unique.
It's just,
I think Mortal Kombat's had a story mode kind of like this, and then Street Fighter 6 is going to have it too.
Yeah.
So it's still a thing.
I love story modes in fighting games. I mean, Deadly Alliance is the first one that has something like that, where I play, and then you get actual conquest mode, which is, I think, Deception of Mortal Kombat it starts that. But it's been a long time since I played those games. But I like that in my fighters. I don't like fighters unless they have like some kind of, I want a story or some kind of campaign. Like I like how Injustice does it in Mortal Kombat 9, where you just play through the game and you get cool cutscenes and you do fights that make sense, part of the story. Then you're like, okay, cool. I played for 3 hours or 4 hours. I beat it. I'll move on. Like, I like that a lot.
Yeah.
Funny. Oh, go ahead, Adam.
Oh, no, I was just going to say NetherRealm and Warner Brothers, since Mortal Kombat 9, have killed the story mode in a fighting game, from the cinematics and how there is a really good story going on. Killed it. And during that, you get to play as all the characters.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I really like that. And that's what it's the only time I play fighters, because I usually don't touch them. The last time I played a fighter all the way through, like, just kept playing it, was Soul Calibur 2. And that was because I had GameCube and Link. So that was a different thing. That's the last time I really got into a fighter like that.
Yeah, Injustice 2 is phenomenal. And it's actually funny because this game reminded me of that, having that special, with the special bar mapped to circle, which is the same as it is in that.
Mm-hmm. I'm watching a playthrough of this quest one. It's like, my God, is that thing in depth?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, there's, items to give to people, to get other items. I mean, it is
mana or spells, and
then
there's a lot to it. I also just don't like dungeon crawlers in general. I still can't understand how someone compared this to Diablo. This is nothing like Diablo.
Yeah, right.
Like, nothing like Diablo.
Are you sure? Do you guys not have cell phones?
I don't consider, to me, it's, Diablo's, hack and slash, sure, but not like this.
Yeah.
Like, but also, I didn't play Diablo 2 till later, early high school when I played Diablo 2 for the first time. But yeah, I played enough Diablo since then. This ain't Diablo, but it's cool. I'm glad it exists. Any other characters that we should mention? Like you said earlier, you have the kick fighter, which is Prince Doza, which looks like any other kick fighter. Yeah,
it's you have your basic thing. You have your wrestler, you have your ninja, you have your karate master, I can't remember some of their names, but
it's irrelevant.
Yeah, they're all the same. The only one that really like stood out is, Red 13 or Django,
which has a red variant.
Yeah, and that's certain characters have a hard time when you fight against that character because you can't hit him with highs, you can't grapple him.
But he didn't like the sword when you hit him with Cloud's sword. So
that was beast mode Red 13.
It was cool to see. Like I thought, oh, Red 13's got to be in this game too. It's just cool. Oh, when you hold down Vincent's special and he shoots off 3 bullets, in the background of the bullets you see his first limit break in like a shadow form.
That's really cool.
I was like, oh, okay. I mean, little things, and the fact that they included Vincent and Yuffie, characters that are secret characters. So, originally, and Zack. I mean, hey, first time Zack was around in a game. First time you could play as Zack in a game, just long before Crisis Core and long before anything else. So, I mean, that's kind of cool too. Even though Zack is Cloud, and that's a whole other thing.
Yeah.
I don't even remember all the details of I haven't played 7 in so long, or really like even dug around all the extra stuff of 7. It's like I can't even remember all. Like I just know that Cloud takes over Zack's personality, and Eris was Zack's girlfriend, and I remember bits and pieces of the game, but it's all like I don't remember a lot of it. It's been so long.
I played 7 a couple of years ago, and I barely have a grasp on what happened.
I still kind of remember Dirge. We did that, but there wasn't much story. But that I need to go back to more Final Fantasy 7 stuff. But I just like one day. Oh, 7 is not my favorite. That's part of it. It gets so much hype too, and so I kind of stay away from it. Like I don't have the same, like that's why 8 is on the show. At the time you're hearing 8's already been out. Like because 8 I have more. 8 was just like something you don't hear people talk about as much in good ways. So I'm like, I want to replay 8. Okay, I gotta say I still like Renoa. I learned that, by the way. I'm like, I still like this story, and I can relate to Squall. That's why I liked him when I was younger, because I could relate to him then. Now, not so much, but I could not. Great. Yeah, there's nothing. None of the other characters really stand out to mention. I mean, they're all just kind of there, like any fighting game where it doesn't go very far.
If they had like maybe 1-2 standout characters, the Ken, the Ryu, the Jin, the Sub-Zeros, a character that really stood out and just wasn't a copy paste of something else. I'm not saying it would have done better, but we might have seen a crossover here, where one of the characters made it into a Tekken game or something like that, but they were all pretty bland.
I feel like even if they had that one standout character having the Final Fantasy VII ones, and they're just kind of would overshadow it anyway.
Oh yeah,
fair. Oh, absolutely.
And I think that right now it's just known as the FF7 game. The FF7 fighter game on PS1. Like it's not. They did overshadow it completely. But I'm glad it exists. I'm glad I went and played it again. I have no reason to ever play it again now. So hey.
Yeah, my curiosity was satiated.
And here I am, like trying to put together a game night so I can play it again. It's so much fun.
But I'm glad for you. Like it makes me happy that you were able to pull off this game, and then you're like, I want more of this. You're not like, well, this was, we're never touching this again. Like I'm glad. That makes me happy to hear.
Everyone's got those games that they super love, and even if they might not, maybe shouldn't, but hey, if we like what we like.
And I mean, as long as you enjoy the game, nothing with it.
Yeah.
I mean, I like tons of bad games.
I just think there's so much, like, and the more I play it, like, the more I'm getting the timing down on, like, you can interrupt any attack. So, like, just like any fighting game, like, the more you practice, the cooler stuff you can do, and it's just easier and super fun.
I never actually landed it, but I thought it was cool. You could, like, jump off the walls and attack.
Oh, you can?
Yeah, so...
that was with Tifa anyway.
That's
yes. Cool. So if the characters below you, because there's multi levels in the levels and the stages, if a character is below you and you press the 2 attack buttons at the same time, your character will turn red and like do a backflip or jump off and dive onto the other character.
Okay.
And then if you press jump and 2 attacks at the same time, you'll do like a jumping overhead attack that's always really good. Like I said, a lot of in-depth the more you actually sit around and play and learn it.
Okay. And this game, all the characters are designed by Tetsuya Nomura, which I think you can tell. Not as bad as some of his games. So, hey, and I wonder if this game helped inspire The Bouncer. Because The Bouncer comes out shortly after this. Which is also Tetsuya Nomura designing stuff again. Oh, Bouncer is also developed by Dream Factory. Okay.
Yeah, that explains it.
which is also on the show, by the way. I finally did the Bouncer too. Ehergeiz and the Bouncer both were supposed to be in 2020, but then because the guest that I had lined up for those 2 episodes, whether he knew it or not, was Mike. And then when the other guys left, I'm like, well, then it just kind of got shoveled until now. So.
They did Crimson Tears on PS2. I actually played a little bit of that not too long ago, last year. Interesting.
I think you liked that game, didn't you?
Yeah, it's not bad.
I remember this. Did you beat it? You were close.
I didn't beat it. I think it's way longer than it needs to be for a beat 'em up.
Okay. Yeah, beat 'em up should not be long.
Yeah.
They can overstay their welcome.
I think it's another one of those ones just kind of got its head up its own ass about its story too.
You just got to put a podcast on and you just play with the podcast on, like maybe listen to games my mom found or something, and you just go. That's how I play games. Like there's a lot of games where I throw a podcast on and I just disappear and don't care anymore. And just have fun that way.
That game's kind of dungeon crawly, so I wonder if they took some of what they learned with this and made it its own game.
Okay. I am always been curious about Crimson Tears, and I'll have to look more into Dream Factory now because they made 2 games that I have played, and I'm curious. So now I'm curious to look up more of their stuff. Mm-hmm. All right. Any last more things you guys have that you want to say to pad out this episode?
So my main complaint with this is like I would go to attack, and if you're moving in a direction, you will attack in that direction. It's like it's a one-on-one fighting game. Why aren't they just like kind of locked facing each other at all times?
The freedom of movement.
I mean, you'd still move around. I just ended up attacking in directions where there weren't enemies.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, as much as I love it, the game's not perfect by a long shot.
Yeah, I mean, granted, that's on me because, like, if I just slow the hell down.
I also noticed, like, because I played this on a Steam Deck, obviously, but when I use just the D-pad, like, I don't know if maybe the D-pad didn't actually move him, and I would sometimes just would take my hand off the joystick and just do combos that way, and it worked better.
Yeah, it was an analog stick only. You couldn't use the D-pad on the game.
Okay, so then I just didn't move. And yeah, that worked out better, actually. Because he couldn't move.
Probably would have been better. Then I wouldn't be missing all my attacks.
Yeah, I didn't miss a lot of attacks. I just kind of stayed put, or I would move towards them, and I don't know. I had less because I had less problems with that. But I know what you're talking about because if I started messing with the analog, he would just run away. Mm-hmm. So that was annoying. Or I would do like a jump kick and just go right past them.
Yeah, that happens a lot.
Hey, but it got me curious. Like now, I'm curious to play Toe Ball number 1 and number 2 now. So
it's
Bushido Blade.
Yeah,
I'm more curious about those.
Yeah, I was gonna say do Bushido Blade before you do Toe Ball.
Oh, definitely Power Stone.
Yeah.
I do need to do more Dreamcast games.
Like,
and random fact, Dream Factory made an Appleseed game for PS2. It's an anime, for those that don't know, that I actually bought on VHS randomly because they had it there for cheap, and I think that's cool. I'm curious to see if this ever was translated somehow.
You want to look up some Power Stone video after this and see how similar it is to this one.
Where a Power Stone? I've just never actually played them.
It's pretty neat.
Because I don't think, did they ever get ported to anything else besides Dreamcast?
There's a duo on the PSP.
Oh, okay. That's why
Yeah. But God, if they ever ported that and had online, that game would sell so fast.
Okay. I'm definitely curious. I'll have to take a look at Power Stone at some point then. Because I'm always up for trying different fighters.
Oh, you want to talk about memorable characters? That thing's got a roster on it.
You got Goku. You got the Captain Falcon. Who else you got?
Jasmine from Aladdin.
Your Western. Yeah, all three.
Oh God, I see you're joking, but you're not joking at the same time because
Exactly.
I've been clicking through things. There's a guy named Falcon that looked like he was in a pilot outfit.
Falcon.
Yeah,
there was Rogue that looked like Jasmine in the blue, the blue outfit. I'm like, yeah, you guys aren't joking that much.
You got Mummy Vega.
Yeah, no joke. Wang Wang, I think is his name, or something like that.
Wang Tang.
Yeah, Wang Tang. When you get all 3 Power Stones, his hair turns gold, spikes up, and he can fire Kamehamehas and spirit bombs.
That's cool. Okay, you got me interested now.
Falcon gets a Super Sentai armor.
I'm curious. Okay, I'll have to try. I've been wanting to play them, but yeah, PSP, that's easy to emulate, so I could do that.
Yeah, Dreamcast it's definitely worth checking out.
Okay, but just the last thing I want to say about Ehergeiz, it is sad that this game never got ported or brought back in some shape or form. Like that kind of makes me sad. Like this game should be re-released, and just because, like, I don't think this wasn't even on the PlayStation Store. You couldn't even buy it when they were selling PS1 classics. Like,
I think in Japan it was, but not here.
Yeah, and that always bummed me out when it's like, just bring the game back, and if you can make a deal and it doesn't cost you a lot of money, just let people have that chance to experience the game. I think it would have sold.
And I would love to see now what all arena fighters have done and stuff like that, what they could do with the property. Because like I said, there was a lot of foundation here and a lot of in-depth. And if they just took the time and polished it, I think we would have a really good game on our hands.
Yeah, I can agree with that. I think for the time it was the arcade people really liked it in Japan. America, not, but because it didn't, the arcade didn't come here. We just got to play the PS1 version, but I know it didn't. PS1 version, also looking at an arcade video of it, God, the PS1 version is ugly compared to that arcade version.
Yeah, that's how it goes.
And the PS1 version is ugly to begin with. So, now, in 2020, it's hard to go back to PS1 games sometimes. They're just rough.
They can all be Mega Man Legends.
that wasn't too rough, actually.
That game holds up wonderfully. I love it. Yeah.
Still waiting for that third one.
Yeah,
the Misadventures of Tron Bon.
I do want to put that on the show, actually, one day.
Yeah, I need to play that.
All right, and let's go to our last segment, Shelf Stacker Box. And Mike, why don't you go first, since it was actually you that gave me the idea to finally put this in the show.
Yeah, I played this for like a half an hour, and because I got like most of the way through the ladder, and then I beat it with Tiva, and then I'm like, okay, I'm going to try the quest mode, and I screwed around with it for 20 minutes before putting it down. And then last night, I'm like, oh man, I should really play more of that for the show, and here's all the games that I played instead of it. Fighting Force, Batman Forever Arcade, Fantastic Four, Rapid Reload, and Panzer Bandit. Yeah, so this is going in the box.
Well, what about you, Adam?
It's gone on a stack. I had fun with it as a kid, and like I said, the past few weeks just playing it, learning the game, I can see myself just not knowing what to play, putting this on and just enjoying it for a little bit.
Okay. That makes me happy. Again, I'm really glad that this worked out, for you. I'm glad you had a really good time. All right, I'm also I'll put this in the stack too. I didn't hate it, and it's still cool. I was debating between boxes. I will never play this again, but stack is probably where it deserves because it is a cool concept and it's still a cool game. But yeah,
I didn't hate it. It's not my style.
20 years from now, I forget. No, I'm not a big fighting guy either. I do like Tekken a lot. I'm not good at fighting games.
Yeah.
I've never played them competitively.
I mean, that's if y'all understood how many fighting game stuff I have. I have a shelf of Street Fighter. I have like 8 fight sticks. I have a Street Fighter tattoo. I might like fighting games just a little bit.
Yeah, I'm interested in Street Fighter 6. That open world thing is really interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it has nothing to do with Cammy, right?
Yeah, Cammy's also very interesting.
Yeah, that's why I know if I do Street Fighter 2, you'll be back. Talk about Cammy. All right. And Adam, where can people find you at?
Talk games, chew bubblegum. I know. Just we'll leave it there.
Well, this won't be out till May or June.
Yeah, well, just still gonna leave it there.
Maybe you'll be back for that.
We're trying. We're trying like hell.
Hey, it's worth it. It's worth it to come back. Podcasting is amazing.
I love it.
All right. If you enjoyed this episode, you can find all our content on Podbean. You can actually search on Podbean to find what we also done. Just type in a name of a title of a movie, comic. Hey, you never know. We might have done it because there are over 450 episodes of this podcast, and I'm going towards 500. So you just never know. Go check out all our giant catalog we do. We do movies, comics, TV seasons, games, all sorts of stuff. So go check out that. And want to give a shout out to my awesome intro and outro courtesy of Helena at Hell Hasfree. You can follow her on TikTok. And want to give a shout out to my buddy Bill Tucker, who started his own podcast, A Gamer Looks at 40, over a year ago or 2 years ago at this point, I think. But yeah, definitely go check him out. And if you want to support the show, we do a Patreon. For as little as $1, you can vote in our Patreon poll. You'll see a link in the show notes. And we have a Discord. You can join our Discord, and you'll see a link in the show notes for that, too. And please follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. I think that's everything I need to say, so we will see you guys all next time. Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.